Noong dekada 60, ang Pilipinas ay isang bansang puno ng pangako, ngunit nababalot ng tensyon. Si Ferdinand Marcos, isang matalinong politiko at war veteran, ay nahirang na pangulo noong 1965. Sa simula, tila handog niyang ang progreso ng mga kalsada, tulay, at mga gusaling pambansa ang tinayo. Ngunit sa likod ng mga proyektong ito, unting-unting lumalalim ang kanyang ambisyon. Natakot sa komunismo, maghimagsik ng Moro, at kaguluhan sa lansangan upang dahilan sa panatilihan ng kapangyarihan.
September 21, 1972, isang petsang hindi malilimutan. Sa gitna ng katahimikan ng gabi, ipinahayag ni Marcos ang proklamasyon bilang 1081. Naglalagay sa buong bansa sa ilalim ng batas militar. Ayon sa kanya, ito'y pag-ibig sa bayan para sugpuin ang rebelyon, korupsyon at kaguluhan. Ngunit sa likod ng makataong salita, nagsimula ang panahon ng dilim.
May nagbabago. Tahimik ang lansangan, ngunit may nagkukubling lakas. Isang bulong ang kumakalat. Pagbabago'y malapit ng sumiklab. Walang putok, walang sigaw, panguna. Ngunit ang bawat puso'y handa ng lumaban. Ang kapangyarihan, malapit ng bumalik. People power, malapit na.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas, lupain ng ginto't bulaklak, pag-ibig na sa kanyang palak, nag-alay na ganda.
I have proclaimed martial law in accordance with the power vested in the President by the Constitution of the Philippines. The proclamation of martial law is not a military takeover. I, as your duly elected President of the Republic, use this power which may be implemented by the military authorities, but still is a power embodied in the Constitution, to protect the Republic of the Philippines and our democracy. A democratic form of government is not a helpless government when it is imperiled by the danger of violent overthrow, an insurrection of a rebellion. It has inherent and built-in powers wisely provided for under the Constitution. Such a danger confronts the Republic of the Philippines. Article 7, Section 10, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution provides, and I quote, "The President shall be the Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces of the Philippines, and whenever it becomes necessary, he may call out such armed forces to prevent or suppress lawless violence, invasion, or rebellion. In case of invasion or rebellion, when the public safety requires it, he may, for a period not exceeding 60 days, suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas."
On February 15, 1981, less than a year after he went on a furlough to seek medical treatment in United States, Ninoy Aquino has been invited to a Freedom Rally Symposium by the Movement for Free Philippines before a capacity crowd of Filipino and American guests at the Wilshire Ebell Theater in Los Angeles, California, where he spoke with enthusiasm and humor about his life and struggle under the martial law dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos, his pompous and ambitious wife Imelda.
I have written, Mr. Marcos, letters upon letter, and I told him, "Read your history, my friend. I have no hatred for you. I only have pity because if you do not see and you do not remove your calluses from your eyes, if you do not remove your blindness, you will meet the same fate of all dictators in history. What happened to Mao Zedong, his wife, now in jail? What happened to person Isabelita is now in jail? What happened to Franco? He's now forgotten. What happened to Shah? For all of things he did, The monuments to his greatness have already been torn down. There has never been a single dictator in history that has lived forever. And so I tell you, Mr. Marcos, study the lesson of history before it's too late.
At 1:14 p.m., Aquino rose from seat 14C and soldiers escorted him off the airplane. Instead of going to the terminal, Aquino would, via the jet bridge's service staircase, be taken straight into tarmac, where a blue Absicom van was waiting. Just before shots were fired, one person said, "Ako na," as Aquino went into the service staircase, while another said, "Pusila, pusila, oh, pusila, pusila, pusila." The audio was recorded on the news camera, but the actual shooting of Aquino was not caught on camera due to the movement and exposure to bright sunlight. "50 seconds after Aquino rose from his seat, a shot was fired, followed 3 seconds later by a volley of 4 shots lasting half a second, and then a second volley of at least 12 shots. Amidst the chaos, multiple journalists tried to record the scene, but all recordings were too exposed to light. When the firing stopped, Aquino and the man later identified as Rolando Galman lay dead on the apron, both from gunshot wounds.
August 21, 1983. Former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. is assassinated at Manila International Airport.
They can kill my husband, but they can never kill the dream of freedom. The Filipino is worth dying for. Mr. Speaker, Senator Thurmond, distinguished members of Congress, 3 years ago, I left America in grief to bury my husband Ninoy Aquino. I thought I had left it also, to lay to rest his restless dream of Philippine freedom. Today, I have returned as the president of a free people. In burying Ninoy, a whole nation honored him. By that brave and selfless act of giving honor to a nation, in shame recovered its own. A country that had lost faith in its future, and it is in faithless and brazen act of murder. So, in giving we receive, in losing we find, and out of defeat we snatch our victory. For the nation, Ninoy became the pleasing sacrifice that answered their prayers for freedom. For myself and our children, Ninoy was a loving husband and father. His loss 3 times in our lives was always a deep and painful one. We will not bow to lies. Tomorrow, we march to EDSA.
Bayan ko, binihag ka, nasadlag sa dusa.
Nang idiniklara ang batas militar noong September 21, 1972, si Aquino ang unang inaristo. Dinakip siya sa kamkrami at tinatulan ng kamatayan ng isang militar na tribunal sa paratang pagbagsak sa pamalaan. Sa loob ng 7 taon, nagtanggol siya ng kanyang karapatan sa pamamagitan ng mga sulat, talumpati at hunger strike. Isinulat niya ang problema ang diktador ay hindi nila matanggap na may taong handang mamatay sa kanilang paniniwala. Sa kulungan, naging inspirasyon siya sa mga bilanggong politikal at patuloy na paglantad ng mga karahasan sa krimen.
The EDSA Revolution was more than an event. It was a promise that the Filipino people will always rise for democracy.
Pagtawa na sila, pagtawa. Yan. Sige. Ay sa guard, pag ang nagagalit.
Hello, Cory.
Cory na ba, Jackie?
Dinoy, say hi. Dinoy. Pag ano?
I have written, Mr. Marcos.